The chilling backstory. Who was Laken Riley? Laken Riley was a young woman whose life was defined by ambition, a magnetic personality, and layers of complexity. Born and raised in a quiet suburban town, Laken's journey began with an early display of brilliance. Her academic achievements set her apart, complemented by her active involvement in sports and extracurricular activities. She was especially talented in track and field and harbored a strong passion for writing, which later inspired her dreams of becoming a journalist. Her friends described her as empathetic, driven, and fiercely supportive, the kind of person who would go out of her way to help those in need. Laken's upbringing, however, was marked by challenges. Growing up in a household with frequent conflicts between her parents, she learned to navigate emotional turmoil from a young age. The turbulence at home forged a resilient spirit within her, one that strived for independence and stability. As a teenager, she balanced school commitments with the stress of her home life, developing a strong sense of determination that would guide her ambitions. As Laken matured, she garnered attention not only for her achievements but also for her community involvement. She volunteered at local shelters, participated in charity events, and expressed a deep commitment to advocating for underrepresented voices. Her aspirations of attending a prestigious university to study journalism were fueled by a desire to amplify important stories. However, her life was not without its personal struggles. Laken's romantic relationship with Tyler, a young man she had dated intermittently, was a source of significant emotional conflict. Their relationship, defined by passion but marred by intense arguments and breakups, became a notable aspect of Laken's story. Despite her challenges, Laken remained determined to build a life filled with purpose and meaning. Her dual existence, one marked by achievements and another shadowed by personal difficulties, set the stage for a compelling story. This complexity would later be the focus of intense investigation and public intrigue following her untimely and tragic death. Unraveling the mystery. What happened on the night of the murder? The events of the night. Laken Riley was murdered are surrounded by mystery and fragmented evidence. It was a chilly evening when Laken was last seen alive at a local cafe, where she met her friend Hannah for a casual coffee. Surveillance footage captured their animated conversation, suggesting a seemingly normal interaction. They parted ways around 9 p.m., and Laken left the cafe with plans to return home shortly. She texted her mother, promising she would be back within the hour. When Laken did not come home as expected, her mother's worry grew. Calls and texts went unanswered, sparking a sense of urgency among her friends and family. By early morning, a missing person report was filed and search efforts commenced. The following afternoon, her car was discovered near a wooded area on the outskirts of town. The vehicle was unlocked, with her purse left inside, an ominous sign that foul play was likely involved. The search of the surrounding woods led to the tragic discovery of Laken's body. Initial observations pointed to a violent struggle. She had sustained blunt force trauma and showed signs consistent with asphyxiation. The coroner's report later confirmed these findings, indicating that the cause of death was a combination of head trauma and strangulation. The nature of the injuries suggested that Laken had fought back, hinting at a personal confrontation. Witnesses reported seeing an unfamiliar car in the area around the time of her disappearance. This lead prompted police to track down potential vehicles and interview anyone who might have information, but the timeline of events remained incomplete. The last known activity from Laken's phone was a brief disconnected call at 9:45 p.m., adding a layer of intrigue to the case. Investigators considered various theories, including a planned meeting that had turned deadly or an unanticipated encounter that escalated beyond control. Details from those closest to Laken painted a complex picture of her final days. Conversations with her friends revealed that she had seemed stressed and distracted leading up to the night of her murder. While she had not shared specifics, her behavior hinted at underlying issues that weighed on her mind. The combination of fragmented evidence, witness accounts, and her last known movements fueled widespread speculation, captivating the public and leaving detectives determined to piece together the events that led to her tragic death. Key suspects and motives. Who had a reason to kill Laken Riley? The investigation into Laken Riley's murder uncovered a web of potential suspects, each with motives that pointed toward possible involvement in the crime. At the forefront of the suspect list was Tyler, Laken's on-and-off boyfriend. Their tumultuous relationship, marked by frequent arguments and emotional highs and lows, raised immediate red flags for detectives. Friends recalled that their last breakup had been especially volatile, with Tyler expressing both regret and resentment in its aftermath. Text messages between the two indicated recent disputes that hinted at unresolved issues. Another person of interest was a co-worker named Max, who worked with Laken at a local publication. Max had a reputation for being highly competitive and had clashed with Laken over a significant assignment weeks before her death. The dispute, while professional on the surface, reportedly led to heightened tension between them. Max's behavior in the days following Laken's murder was scrutinized, as colleagues noticed he seemed nervous and avoided discussing the case. Investigators also focused on a neighbor, Mrs. Caldwell, who reported hearing loud voices and what sounded like an argument coming from Laken's property on the night she disappeared. While Mrs. Caldwell was known to be detail-oriented, detectives needed to weigh her account against other witness statements. Additionally, an acquaintance from Laken's volunteer work, Rachel, emerged as a possible suspect. Rachel had previously expressed jealousy over Laken's popularity and received criticism from her for being unreliable during key events. Some close to Rachel claimed she felt overshadowed by Laken and had spoken harshly about her in private. As the investigation deepened, questions about other motives came into focus, such as whether Laken had uncovered sensitive information in her journalistic pursuits that threatened powerful figures. With numerous suspects and overlapping motives, the task of narrowing down the true culprit proved to be a complex and multifaceted challenge. Clues and evidence. The forensics behind the case. The forensics team played a pivotal role in piecing together the mystery surrounding Laken Riley's death. The scene where her body was found provided initial but vital clues. Impressions in the dirt indicated signs of a struggle, suggesting that she fought back against her assailant. Fibers discovered on Laken's clothing were meticulously analyzed, revealing traces of synthetic material consistent with certain types of upholstery. Investigators also identified partial fingerprints on the handle of Laken's car door. While these prints were not a complete match to any known suspect, they were sufficient to narrow down potential leads. A search of her car yielded further clues, such as smudges on the passenger seat and faint traces of blood on the floor mat, which were sent for DNA analysis. Laken's phone, found tossed a short distance from the scene, was another significant piece of evidence. Although the device had been damaged, forensic experts were able to recover data, including recent calls, messages, and GPS history. These findings revealed a brief, unexplained stop at an isolated location earlier that evening. Further analysis pointed to an outgoing call made to an unknown number at 9:45 p.m., which had been disconnected after a few seconds. Beyond physical evidence, digital forensics provided new insights. Laken's social media activity was combed for clues, highlighting recent posts that suggested she was under stress, but did not detail why. Additionally, her private messages hinted at a strained dynamic with an unnamed individual. The combination of physical and digital evidence helped shape the narrative of what happened that night, guiding investigators in refining their focus on specific suspects and potential motives. Forensic analysis of hair strands found on Laken's jacket suggested contact with someone outside her immediate circle, leading to further DNA comparisons. The autopsy results confirmed blunt force trauma as the primary cause of death, along with defensive wounds on her arms and hands, corroborating the hypothesis that she had fought back. The case continued to evolve as each new piece of evidence emerged, pushing investigators closer to uncovering the truth. The impact and legacy: how Laken Riley's murder shook the community. Laken Riley's murder left a profound impact on her community, sending shockwaves through the small town where she had grown up. Her death served as a harsh reminder of the fragility of life and the hidden struggles that even the most vibrant individuals can face. In the days and weeks following the discovery of her body, vigils were held in her honor. Hundreds of people gathered at local landmarks to pay tribute to her memory, sharing stories of her kindness, ambition, and the positive change she had inspired. The murder also sparked widespread calls for increased safety measures in the area. The local government faced pressure to improve street lighting and enhance public security, especially in areas known for their isolation. The tragic circumstances surrounding Laken's death resonated deeply with young women, many of whom voiced their concerns over feeling unsafe in their own neighborhoods. Social media campaigns using the hashtag #JusticeForLaken gained traction, rallying support for both her family and broader community safety initiatives. Laken's legacy lived on through scholarships established in her name, supporting aspiring journalists who shared her passion for storytelling and advocacy. Her story inspired a renewed dialogue about mental health, relationships, and the importance of vigilance. It also highlighted the need for community unity in addressing underlying social issues. The investigation's twists and turns were closely followed by national media, turning Laken's case into a cautionary tale and a symbol of resilience in the face of tragedy. Though the search for justice was arduous, her memory continued to inspire those who knew her and those who only came to learn of her through the tragic events. The enduring impact of Laken Riley's life and death served as a stark reminder of the complexities surrounding violence and loss, emphasizing the need for compassion, awareness, and continued pursuit of justice.